to be among such thinkers, makers, movers, shakers of the art world. It really is. It's an honor and a privilege. Now I'm here to talk about sort of the hypothesis of my praxis. I was reclusive for many years. I didn't speak of my art because I thought art is not for speaking about. It's for making. It's for doing. It's for watching. It's for looking. And then people begged and they begged and they begged and they begged and they said, Lenny, would you please tell us about your practice? And I said, I'll give the people what they want, so here I am, and what an honor it is to be here among you. Now this was my, again, the hypothesis of my praxis, and I don't know if you heard me say that before, but that is what it is. I think of the gallery as a sort of art object of its own. Or should I say an art abject? Oh, that's one for the artists in the audience. They'll love that. They'll absolutely love that. And now I'll read to you a little bit about this. Thank you. The duality of man, woman, person. What does it mean to be a moral being? Immoral, super duper moral. Lenny Joos's work steps into the void of consciousness, and his proclivity for the sensuality of objects is on full display in Moral Playground. Joos gives voice to those who are inanimate objects, objectified, and gives autonomy to things in a way that is not dissimilar to Jesus Christ. His work delves into matters of thingness, and the vulnerability of humanity is palpable through his sculpture vis-a-vis the act of making. He aims to question the radically moral as well as the transhumanist potential of the physical what. His work is rendered obsolete by the passage of time, as are we all. Transversing beyond the limits of parallelism, he broadens the scope of achievement by achieving everything, or rather, nothing at all. Here, he invites the public to become enveloped in the breadth of his reach. Join us in welcoming you, the viewer, to the investigation of space and thing. Next. Now we'll speak about these objects that I've made for the show, the hypothesis of my praxis. I don't know if you heard me the first 2 times. Now this is called What's for Dinner? Plaster, fibers, wax, enamel, found object. 7 by 5. That's 7 foot by 5 foot, not inches. So let's be very clear about that. This was inspired by, well, my mother. Really. Beautiful woman. She yelled and screamed at me as a boy, and it felt like, what am I if not a man standing on a dinner plate in front of this woman, a woman who gave me life, and yet a woman who takes away life, the life of bugs I collect, put in little jars, fireflies, ants, and such, and I felt like dinner. Felt like a little man to just gobble up. Consumption! Think about it. I am but a tiny man on the bigger. Wax, paper, marker, resin, 4 by 4.5. Once again, that's feet. Not inches. Scale is very important to me in my practice. You know, I think of myself not as a sculptor, but as a maker of worlds. And I think that's very clearly on display in this piece. Now, once again, what am I, if not just a tiny man, standing on the hand of men who came before me, men with painted nails, gay. But that's not for me to say. A crumpled up wad of paper. What was on the piece of paper? Ideas? Perhaps. Lyrics to a song? Could be. Maybe the next great American novel? I would say so. But I'm not a writer. No, I'm just a man standing in the palm of a hand. Next! What's for dinner part 2? Ceramic, metal, resin, fibers, 3 by 5. This one is inches. This one, I was working in my studio, and when I'm in my studio, I don't listen to music, rather I listen to loops of me working in my studio to keep the process pure. And I was listening, and I was listening, and I was thinking, and I was thinking, and so much of the process is thinking, and thinking, and thinking, and thinking. And the words weren't coming to me, and I wondered, what is going on? And that's when it came to me. I hadn't eaten all day. So instead of eating, I did the only thing I know how to do. I made. I created. So I created this object right here. It's a plate, a fork, made out of metal, of course. And now this metal, I did not forge in my metal shop, because I don't know how. But what is a found object if not a sculpture made for you by someone else? And so here we are, a beautiful meal. Now this is of course before it rotted, and the smell, the stench, enveloped the gallery, and the viewer was sort of hit in the face by just the rotting of my meal. The meal that was for me, but I couldn't eat. I couldn't eat because I can't eat until I finish making, and that is the life of an artist. Next. Sticks and stones and forks may break my brittle bones. 3D printing, something I know how to do. Don't tell me I don't know how to do it, because I know how to do it. Plaster, fibers. You might be wondering what that rope is made out of. Stop wondering. It's none of your goddamn business. Now this piece was also made in a state of hunger. Spiritual hunger, perhaps. Physical hunger? Yes. Now my tummy was grumbling, and I thought, you're not allowed to eat until you make, Lenny. You're not allowed to eat until you make the next great work of our time. So I took a fork, and I said, what if this was big? What if this was big and it went in a rock? And then beyond that, what if there was a rope? A rope that represents the death of the American middle class. And so I created, and I made what I would really refer to as the ultimate hypothesis of, say it with me, my praxis. You didn't say it, and that's because you're too afraid, and I understand. Many of you probably don't know what praxis means, but I do. And I won't explain it to you. Not because I can't explain it to you. I do know what it means, but I choose not to explain it to you because that's a journey that we have to go on by ourselves. Now, unless anyone has any questions, no one has any questions. I believe that's the end. Thank you.
Please, one more time for Lenny Joos.
Lenny Joos.